Hi guys, my name is Jonathan Menez and my program is designed for people with lower back pain. The first exercise is the single arm bench. To start this movement, lay flat on a bench with your working arm slightly bent to prevent hyperextension and with your scapula protracted. Then place your feet together as close as you can, engage your core, engage your glutes, and start the movement like a regular bench press. Then at the top, you want to have protraction. For a progression, you could lift your opposite leg of your working arm to perform the movement exactly as the baseline. This will make it harder for your core to keep the balance. For a regression, you can perform scapular protractions. To perform this exercise, go into a quadruped position. Drop your chest and then think about pushing the floor while you get protraction of your scapulas. The next exercise is the incline row. To perform this exercise, you want the bench to be around a 45-degree angle. Place your chest on the bench, then you want your knees to be slightly bent with some posterior pelvic tilt. Keep your glutes engaged as well as your core. Then start the movement. When you row, think about pulling with your elbows and not with your hands. This will give you a better lat contraction. For a regression, place the bench flat and perform the exercise just like the baseline. For a progression, you can stand in a bilateral stance, then hinge until you get around 90 degrees and start rowing, just like the baseline. The next exercise is core raisings. To perform this movement, place yourself flat on the ground, bend your knees a little bit, raise your arms up, and imagine that you're trying to push the ceiling to get some protraction on your scapulas. Inhale deeply without arching the back, then exhale while you get some posterior pelvic tilt. Then repeat this process, and every time you exhale, try to get more engagement on your core. This will help you get more intra-abdominal pressure. For a regression, you will place yourself exactly like the baseline, but with your leg straight, and then perform the movement exactly the same. For a progression, you will place yourself exactly like in the baseline. You will use a ring in between your legs and then perform the exercise just like the baseline. But now try to keep the tension between the ring and your legs. The next exercise is the eccentric glute bridge. To do this exercise, you will use some towels or sliders. To perform this exercise, lay flat on the ground with the sliders underneath your heels. Then think about trying to raise your hips to the ceiling. Then exhale while you slide. For a regression, place yourself exactly like in the baseline, then raise your hips and hold that position for 5 to 10 seconds while you squeeze your glutes and engage your core. For a progression, you will place yourself exactly like in the baseline, but with a ball in between your legs. Then perform the movement. The next exercise is the side lunge. To perform this exercise, stand in a bilateral stance, shoulder width apart. Engage your glutes and your core, while you think about gripping the ground with your toes. Then lean towards one leg without your heel lifting off the ground. The opposite leg should be slightly bent to prevent hyperextension. Then come back to the standing position. For a regression, you will need some sliders. To perform this exercise, you will lean on one leg while the opposite leg is performing adduction and abduction. For a progression, you will also need some sliders. You're gonna stand like in the baseline and then perform a side lunge. Then do some adduction. The next exercise is the single leg posterior pelvic tilt. To perform this exercise, you're going to place your weight on one leg while the opposite leg is off the floor. Then inhale and exhale while you're going to a posterior pelvic tilt. Keep your core engaged as well as your glutes all the time so you can keep better balance. For a regression, stand on a split stance and perform the exercise just like on the baseline. For a progression, you can do some single leg RDLs. To perform this movement, you stand on one leg while you keep your core and glutes engaged, then hinge and keep some posterior pelvic tilt, then come back to the starting position.